What's up guys, I'm Nick and this is Build Dad Build. Alexa, play I'm Never Gonna Give You Up on repeat. Alexa, volume 10. Sorry about the ricking and the rolling there. Guess what time it is? The lasers are coming in fast and hot, guys. I can't help it. So this is currently a unit that I don't even believe is out yet. I don't have any specs on it. It didn't come with any instructions, but it did come from SainSmart, and I think it's their first attempt at their own branded diode laser. This is the Jinsoku LC-40. I was checking just the laser to see like the wattage and things like that. There's nothing on here. This is, this is how much they're in testing right now. The only thing it just has the warning label. I have reached out to SainSmart to try to get some sort of instructions on how to put this together, but it is modular and it does look fairly easy. So we're gonna take a crack at it without any instructions. I have built a couple lasers in the past, so I kind of have an idea how they go together. This may be a total failure and I'll have to come and revisit once I get the instructions. But that's what we're doing right now. I'm just kind of looking at some of, like, I don't even have a spec sheet on the thing yet. I'm just kind of looking at the information sent over to me. It looks like, it says it has two different firmwares. I think they're talking softwares. The stock firmware is customized to allow users to operate it via their mobile phones and computers. The mobile phone app is easy to use. This machine also allows you to switch to Gerbil-based firmware. Basically, will let you use laser Gerbil or Lightburn. So right now, I'm gonna lay the pieces out on the bench and
let's get to work, kids. Let's kick the tires on this thing.
Giddy up. I'm guessing that is the gantry. Got a couple packets with some stuff in it. Packet. That is gonna be one arm. It's gonna be the other side, I guess I should say, not arm. Some cabling that looks like for power and attachments. That looks like a front or a back panel. Then, I mean, like very little branding even on this. The laser unit itself, just looking at this, we can get through this. We can do this. Okay, so I'm not sure if this is the back or the front yet, but what I'm noticing is that each one of these stepper motors has a cable coming off of it. We've got another cable here. This has two cables on this side that look like they marry up to those, and then this one in here looks like it marries up to this guy. So that being said, I think what we're gonna do is try to get these connected, and then let's see, let's do this, and then I'm gonna bring this up. I don't know exactly where this thing is supposed to go. I guess it can tuck down in here to a certain degree, because this needs to come in here. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys can even see that, but I don't want to pinch my wires is my issue here. And so I'm trying to stuff them in there as much as I can, I think. And then, there we go. Okay, so let's see. You guys probably can't see that now. So the screws for this are underneath, it looks like. So now that we have the wires kind of tucked into that rail, let me take a look and see if I can figure out which screws this takes. This is my one concern, is I don't know what these little guys are at all. I think these might be like cable clips though. Do you need an Allen wrench? There's one provided. I'm assuming the bigger ones are gonna go in here. And then we'll just do the same thing on the other side. Now the good thing about this is, and one of the reasons that I'm attempting this is because all the belts are already in the unit, which makes it a lot easier to put it together. Yep, there goes the camera. Now the fun part's gonna be trying to get this one. Let's see how this is gonna go on here. Well, it's definitely not going like that. It's gonna go like this, but I gotta get these two guys plugged in first. So let's pull this. Having the camera rig over is better for you guys to see, but it doesn't help me a whole lot. No, that's not gonna go there. Let's see. Oh wait. Yeah, this one goes here. Make sure, I was sitting on a laser the other day and it had a bent pin in it. Okay, and that's what this is. And then this is gonna go, this is gonna be fun, buddy. So there's this little guy right here. I should have done this side first. Push comes to shove, we'll take it apart and do that, but this is a short little connector. So I'll try to get it in there without damaging anything. And then we're gonna try to tuck this in there. Okay, so we got it plugged in. I'm tucking while I'm trying to push this in here so I don't, because the big thing is you don't want to pinch any of those wires in there because they could pull out a connection, or you could just sever the wires altogether. Okay, and we're going to repeat this on the backside, but the backside doesn't have any, doesn't really have anything, you know, any wiring in it. So this should be a little easier, hopefully. And then I'm just going to bring this down this way. This is going to have to go like this. Okay. So the problem is here again, this is just a really short connection. If I could ask for anything, I would just want this connection to be a little longer because it's just those little tiny cables, little tiny wires. Here, let's try swinging around here. Okay, that's enough. And then this guy is gonna drop right in there. You guys probably think I'm doing this backwards. The reason I'm doing this the way I'm doing it is because these connections all kind of hide. Because normally I would put, you know, you put the pieces on first and then secure it. So next thing, I have 4 screws here, which I'm gonna guess go to the gantry. These guys, there's 2 little channels here to kind of slip into, and you're kind of doing this blind. Let's see if we can get it. I'll do one of these guys over here so we're even Stevens. Even Stevens. What does that even mean, dude? Honestly use like a longer Allen wrench for this. It's not a horrible design. It's just not the easiest. Once you get in there, like I slipped out of the Allen wrench, or I slipped out of the screw, and you guys know how bad it is when you slip out, and then trying to get it back in there was kind of a pain. We got it though. So far, no instructions. This is still going pretty quick. I mean, I'm looking at my timer and we're about 12 minutes right now. How does this thing go up and down? Oh, I'm holding it upside down. Oh, sure, okay. All right, so you've got a thumb screw over here. We're gonna probably screw into the back of this, right? It's gonna go like that. Maybe this is the front of the machine. It's kind of weird. And then like the power and everything's on the back, but it'd be out of the way, I guess. All right, switch around again. And then take one of these guys, cue it up on there, come through, and action. Okay, I do know where that is. It's right here. Oh, and it plugs in right there. Okay, so there's like a USB-C back here. It goes right here, I think. Is that what that is? Yeah. Looks like a USB-C to the cable for the laser. So it's kind of an interesting thought in having this kind of cable and having it up, right? So it's out of the way. Wait a second. So where does this go? All right, let's take another look around this thing. I am missing another one of those little USB type C places, it looks like, because I have another cord, which would make more sense because right now this thing's really tight. Ha, found it, okay. All right, so I think what we're doing here, this goes here. We have this guy and this guy, so there's 2 of them. My thought is this one's gonna go in here. We're gonna cable manage this across the back of this. This guy is gonna go into the one on the back and then come over and clip into this. Because in this way, like the way this comes up, you got a clip, and a clip, which is basically this. On the back, you've got your switch, your power, your USB and everything, and then right here in this little vent, there's another one of those USB-Cs. I'm just trying to give you like kind of a where we are in space type situation. I feel like we're gonna go here, and then clip there, and then all the way down. And this is gonna run all the way down here, and we're gonna clip those in. So it looks like the whole point of these is to clip everything in so it stays, you know, kind of like you would with a zip ties, but they have designated spots for them, which is kind of nice, like I said, because zip ties aren't always the easiest thing to deal with, and they, you know, they don't look great. It also comes with a zip drive, so. Okay, so, moment of truth. Oh, it's homing. Just pulled that clip right off. Oh. Okay, well that was solid. It feels solid, it sounds solid. I don't think that clip's ever gonna stay on there. And I guess we're homing to the back left. Okay, and as I was poking around on the flash drive that came with the unit, I found an instruction manual, yay! So for the most part, that was assembled correctly as far as I can tell from the pictures. But time for nerd facts. It's the LC-40, we knew that. High grade aluminum alloy. The laser head is a 5mm fixed distance laser. Travel for the Z-axis is 0.1mm to 76mm. The travel on this thing is no joke. Look at this. All right, that's all the way up. And watch this. See, I gotta figure out something like that, man. But that's huge. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Nerd facts. The power supply is 12 volt, 5 amp. Says the machine power is a 60 watt. The laser electric power is 10 to 20 watt, upgradable to 20 to 40. Laser optical power is less than 4.5 watts, standard, upgradable to 8 watts. Laser wavelength is 455 nanometers. Engraving area 400 by 400 millimeters, which it's kind of the standard, but I just didn't know. Engraving accuracy is 0.05 millimeters. Engraving speed, or I guess less than and equal to 170 millimeters per second. Okay, now we're gonna learn how to focus, because I don't know, man, it doesn't have a billet or anything to focus with as far as I can tell. Is that it? I would have never seen that. Wow, I can't believe I just saw that. This is the spacer tool. This is your focusing billet, and it's really handy. Let me show you where it is. Okay, so laser, and when you get over here, you got this little thing here. I just remember wondering what it was earlier, and if you pull this out, it's right there, and that's your focusing billet. It's 5mm. Sweet. All right, now we know how to focus. Also, well, I'm trying to set this up in Lightburn, hopefully. There's some drivers and some firmware updates that you need to do. They are also on that USB drive, and there was a video on how to like kind of put this into pairing mode, I guess, in order to upload the firmware and things like that. Okay, so I had to add it manually in Lightburn, but it does look like we're up and running. So let's get rid of the beans. Let's test it out. There's this really cool site called o2creative.co.n as in Nancy, Z as in zebra. I'll put the link in the description down below. Basically, you can generate your own power scale tests for Lightburn. So what I did is I went ahead and just made one. You just put in your parameters, so we're looking at 10% all the way to 100%, and I think we start at 500 millimeters per minute, and we go all the way up to 10,000. We'll run the grid, and then we'll take a look at the results. Sorry if it's a little smoky in here. I think Snoop Dogg stopped by after the halftime show, so I'm just kidding. It's smoke from something that I was. Anyway, guys, thanks for making it to this part of the video. Before we get to the results and kind of the pros and cons and thoughts on the laser, I just want to say thanks for sticking around. If you like this video and you want to see more of them, go ahead and hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I really would like to hit 100,000 subscribers this year, and it would really help me out if you hit that button. That being said, I want to say an extra special thanks to my patrons. These guys are the ones that make the magic happen, especially my Boilermaker or top tier patrons. I gotta check them out again. So we have some moving and shaking going on over there, kids. If you haven't been to my Patreon page, go check it out. It's a great way to support the channel. You do not have to join up at the top tier by any means. There is a $3 level. Every little bit helps the channel out. And there's the wife. And on to the Boilermakers. Stephen Mann, Eric Weiss, Derek Coates, Chuck Faulkner, Puffy Muffins, Jim Carter, Andy the Viking, Dwight Smith, Christopher Walters, and our newest Boilermaker, Todd Stewart. Clinky's kinda. We're not quite there yet. So I figured we'd actually hit a list of pros and cons that I noticed kind of while setting this thing up, and then get into the fun stuff. It's a really good result, by the way. Cons, and these, honestly, all these cons are pretty small, okay? Needs a longer Allen wrench. It is a little hard to get to a couple of the screws in the device with the length on the Allen wrench that there is. The wire ties are difficult to get on. The design seems a little weird to me. You're trying to put something that is that shaped around a round cable that's thicker than that. So it's a little odd to me. On that same note, I feel like this top gantry cable is just a little too short. You guys aren't looking at it. This one right up here, I absolutely cannot get the wire connector on the back of this to stay on while it's moving. So I feel like this needs to have a little bit more play so it can kind of come up and go over maybe. And then a couple of short wire connections that I had while I was putting together. And that's growing pains. You know, they may have manufactured it and not realized that those are too short, or you know, maybe this whole bottom doesn't have to be solid, and it'd give you a little bit more play to get in there and kind of pull the cables around if you needed to. That's about all the cons. I really like this unit. Pros on this. The first one, I just have great design written. I like the way it's designed. It's very close to the design of the X-Tool. I really like the kind of like sleeker look to it. It's chonky. So it feels a little bit beefier. Really like the fact that they raised these rails up a bit, so you can actually slide something pretty thick underneath here. Overall, the unit just feels solid. I also really like the amount of travel they put on the Z-axis. This, you know, what is it, 76 millimeters? That's a lot. So not only can you slide something under here that's thick, but you wouldn't have to raise the rails up to do that. It runs solid, it feels solid. Another thing is it does have limit switches on it, which the X-Tool does not. So you can home the device. I mean, you can home the X-Tool too, but it's a little different. This thing will home on its own, and it kind of zeroes itself out to begin with. So it's a little bit easier to do repeatable things on this. And between that coffee and this hat, it's hot. There's new merch though, by the way. So just got the new logo put onto beanies and ball caps, and that will be in my merch store. I can't get beanies or hats in like in my merch store down below, so they will be in my Etsy store. Right, next, I just want to get some of the tests. This is the engrave test, and honestly, those boxes should have been filled in, and that's just my fault when I was doing it. But you can get in here and kind of get an idea of what's looking good and what isn't. Next is the cut test. You can see that you're cutting at up to 150 millimeters at 80%. And then I just wanted to do a quick engrave to see how it would turn out. This is their artwork. Anyway, you get down about 4 millimeters on the text, and then it starts dropping off so you can't really read it. This, maybe if it was a little darker, you'd be able to read it, but then 2 millimeters gone. So those inner lines are 1 millimeter apart. So it's getting pretty good on detail there. This is a cut piece on cardboard, corrugated cardboard. As you can see, I had to cut a couple pieces out. I probably need to tweak my settings on this, but all in all, it goes, it's pretty snappy to do it too. So next up, I just want to do a cut and engrave. So that is the engrave of the skull, and then, but you know, the edge is dark, but the cut is clean. So then I like to just jump in and look at some of the kind of the detailing on it. So this is kind of a larger Star Wars mandala, and I don't know how well this is gonna let me get in there for detail right now. Then I went ahead and did one. This one gets just a little muddled just because I haven't cleaned it off yet, but that's a much smaller one. But look at that detail. It's still looking pretty good. It will cut and engrave on colored acrylic. This particular piece is 2mm, I believe. Cut was 2 passes, but all the way through, nice and clean on the edges. Looking good. Okay, guys, all in all, I would say it's a solid machine. I do not know what the price point is. If I find out after this video is live, I will put it in the description down below, along with a link to go check it out once it is live. So it's really hard to say if this is a strong recommend or not without knowing the price point. However, I would say it's a solid unit. It's very beginner friendly. I mean, you know, you guys will probably have instructions. There was no instructions in this and I still got it together in probably about 20 minutes. That being said, that's all I can say right now, guys, because thanks for playing. And now I gotta get to work. Okay, so this really great site called, no!